Wow. Well, it does surprise me how ignorant and foolish police officers are nowadays. But we have another story, and this is appalling. A cop's foolish ignorance and lack of proper training and thinking and make a mistake lands an innocent woman in jail. Yeah. This is why the Brady list is invented when cops screw up on the job or they lie. Yeah, absolutely here. Here we go. Innocent pregnant woman jail after cop's shocking birthday blunder. I kid you not. Innocent pregnant woman spent a night in jail due to a cop's error. Yeah. Ignorance. Yeah.
Pregnant woman goes to jail, wrongfully arrested, goes to jail because a cop made a huge mistake. Put it up full mass.
Here it is.
So damn sad.
Pathetic.
So pregnant
fucking basuda
Vermont woman spent the night in jail after cops arrested her for a crime she did not commit. According to the lawsuit, it all happened because an officer wrote down the wrong birthday.
Wow.
It took 3 years after obtaining an arrest warrant before Vermont cops arrested a pregnant woman on charges that she sold heroin, okay? That's hardcore drug.
Heroin, you hear that?
To another woman who overdosed and died. But the cops still got it wrong. Arresting the wrong woman who shared the same name but different birth date than the woman they were supposed to arrest. Now
and that's not the first time where cops mistaken like that because somebody so blatantly has the same name, but different maybe middle name or different birthday like that. Remember where I covered a story about when a Florida woman was on a cruise and she returns back to Fort Lauderdale, and they had a warrant for a woman, same name but different birthday, and the woman had an arrest warrant I think on Harris County in Texas, and the woman was like 30 something years old, and the woman that came back for the Fort Lauderdale cruise was 50 something years old. And keep in mind, this was a woman who spent Christmas in jail. Yeah.
Innocent woman they arrested, Alicia M. Kelly, has filed a lawsuit against the Brattleboro Police Lieutenant Greg Eaton.
Good for her.
Who was a sergeant when he applied for the warrant. This was back in 2019. Sergeant means he has supervision. He has rank. Before another law enforcement agency used the warrant to make the arrest in 2022. Now, 3 years later, police have yet to arrest the real Alicia M. Kelly.
Wow.
Who was captured on video selling the drugs to a Dunkin' Donuts employee inside the store, who was then found inside the bathroom with a needle in her arm.
Whoa.
So sad. The employee, Brianna Radcliffe, died 3 days later at a local hospital, according to the lawsuit filed June 30th in federal court by the Vermont attorney. The defendant, Eaton, at the time the arrest warrant application was submitted, had access to pictures of the plaintiff, Alicia M. Kelly, and suspect Alicia M. Kelly through at least one of the following sources: Department of Motor Vehicle license photos, State of Vermont and municipal databases, the Vermont Department of Corrections, and also they can utilize social media. The defendant did not attempt to confirm that he had the correct date of birth for Alicia M. Kelly before he applied for the arrest warrant. Reportedly, the defendant never examined or even compared a photo of complaint to a photo of Alicia M. Kelly that he identified in the arrest warrant application. We're talking about investigative prowess not being applied. Although photos of either woman are not publicly available, the real suspect was born on May 16, 1988, while the woman who ended up arrested was born on October 25, 1988. An overlooked detail that led to the arrest of a pregnant innocent woman on felony charges. Now, when you engage in work where there's public integrity and public trust, you have to do the legwork. There are reports and mistakes that happen. I've made them. You also correct them. Now, to make a mistake and a person's life is on the line, their life could be flipped upside down. Going to jail while being pregnant, I'm sure the woman has a job. has to now explain an arrest record.
You know, it's ridiculous too, where you get people that are wrongfully arrested because cops they can't think basic logic, or they make mistakes, but they don't sit there and apologize, say I'm sorry, I screwed up, that's on me, my bad. They don't. They have the attitude it is what it is, and they double down and they're stupid on their bigotry behavior like that, or to the points, or people arrested. Remember that guy that was taking legal prescription drugs. He was on his way. Yeah, the rusty guy. Yeah, and the cop that arrested him has a serious background. That Megan officer up in Minnesota. He was taking legal prescription, but she doubled down, arrested him. He lost his job and CDL license and missed his daughter's graduation. I've seen instances where people lose their jobs, they lose their family, lose their house because cops screw up, mistake somebody, or they double down because they go contempt to cop. It's ridiculous.
Probably could not call folk for a whole day, had some responsibilities that day. The list goes on. And all the cop had to do was literally look at the records that are available to him. Now, maybe those pictures are not available to us, but they are available to the cop. The investigator
they're
has
in the database
to the Department of Driving Services or the DMV.
Yeah.
They have them. That's why they have access
or Social
to them.
Security Administration.
Because it fits or it is aligned to their investigative role. Radcliffe was found inside the Dunkin' Donuts bathroom, kneeling an arm on June 8th, 2018. And Eaton, then the sergeant, began investigating the case. Eaton reviewed surveillance footage from inside the store showing the drug transaction. And the store's manager informed him the woman selling drugs was a former employee named Alicia M. Kelly. But the lawsuit states that Sergeant Eaton did not apply for an arrest warrant until May 20th, 2019. May 20th, 2019. This took place June 8th, 2018. So that's when it was approved by a judge in 2019 from the Vermont Superior Court the following day. The lawsuit does not explain why it took the sergeant damn near a year to apply for the warrant after learning the identity of the suspect. But when he finally did, he listed the birth date of the wrong Alicia M. Kelly on his application. None of this makes sense. The lawsuit states that Orleans County Sheriff Jennifer Harlow and a deputy arrived at Kelly's house on June 13th, 2022, and arrested her in front of her parents and two minor children. Kelly, who was visibly pregnant, became distraught, panicked, and was brought to tears, obviously.
Yeah.
Her parents also became upset, insisting there must be some mistake. But Kelly was arrested, spent the night in jail, bail set at $25,000. Adding insult to injury, the county sheriff's office also posted a statement containing details of the arrest on social media, which was viewed by members of plaintiff's community. It was not until the following day that prosecutors realized the mistake of the birth date and dropped the charges against Kelly. It took a prosecutor less than 24 hours after arrest to do the one thing that the cop had a year to do: compare the vital records. All right. Jasmine, thoughts here?
You know, I mean, thank God the prosecutor did the right thing. When this cop was just ignorant, it took him a year, you know, like that. But he did the right thing. But I think in my mind, the damage had already been done. They humiliated her, arrested her. She spent a night in jail. Then they doubled down by putting it on social media where the plaintiffs and like that. You know, and they're probably saying, "Oh, good, I finally got her. Lock her up. Throw away the key. Ho, she gets a long time." Crazy.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. Mistakes happen. You do your best to prevent them, but realistically, they're still going to happen. But the other side of things is that while mistakes are inevitable, you still do your best to mitigate the fallout once they do happen. And by mitigate the fallout, I don't mean covering it up and evading accountability and protecting the officers at all costs. I mean making things right. But I'm sorry, both within the system that failed and with the innocent person who was victimized by the mistake. And when you work in law enforcement, the mistakes that are made are of such a high consequence, much higher than they are with most other jobs, because
Yeah, and I think it's like cops, and it's like they don't understand the gravitation, the gravitude of when they falsely arrest people, falsify or screwed up charges, because some of these cops got fragile egos that part picked on manipulating bullying in high school, or they don't do their research. It's like they don't. It's like they don't check the data or the facts. I mean, it's like people talk about when you're playing Texas Hold'em poker, when you're playing high stakes. No, that's Texas Hold'em poker is just dealing with like money and chip. People's lives are like that's the gravitation, a high stake. That someone could spend years or decades behind bars or falsify charges, or the cops were stupid enough to not do the due diligence work.
mistakes in law enforcement can and often do result in people losing their lives. That was not the case here, which we're all very happy about. But even if we don't go all the way to that extreme, a lot of times if you make a mistake in law enforcement, it can result in significant trauma for the people who are victimized by the mistake. And I know that people love to minimize the impacts of that. They like to say, mental health, just get over it, whatever. But it is traumatizing, I would imagine. I've thankfully never endured anything like this. But, if you have officers.
Yeah, and people sit there saying, "Well, you only spent one night in jail. Hey, you get to go home. You're still alive. Hey, you go to bound, you're bound." Yeah, but just one night in jail is one too many. Believe me, I experienced a few nights in jail, and it's traumatizing. It just affects you. It affects your mindset. It dehumanizes you. That's why people talk about when they spend years in prison. It desensitizes them to the point where they get institutionalized. It affects you.
Coming over to your home, invading your private space, forcefully arresting you in front of your family. And that's traumatizing, not just to you, the victim, but also to the family members who are witnessing this. It's a defining moment for an entire family.
Not only that, it's like when you're being falsely arrested or these trumped up charges like that. And it's like the community, your neighborhood, the community looks like man, this guy is a serious threat to our community like that. And it's and they're going to look at it like you're the bad guy. Like these cops are getting a scumbag, a hardcore comic criminal off the streets. They're like, good, lock him up. Hope he serves some serious time. And you're innocent. It's like cops want to attempt cop, or they don't do their due diligence. They don't do the research.
Everybody who's involved. Some people, they don't feel safe in their own homes anymore, and that can be a very distressing and displacing feeling. And overall, those kind of consequences to bad police work, those are completely diminished or minimized, and nobody really seems to take them seriously. At the same time, if you choose to become a law enforcement officer, if you choose to become a police officer, you have to know that the things that you do have very, very high consequences. Mistakes cannot be as easily tolerated. Unfortunately, we actually see the opposite a lot of the time, right? We see that officers can make very, very deadly or traumatizing mistakes while they're working.
Yeah.
And instead, they don't lose their jobs. They're hardly punished. Sometimes they're transferred to a different agency or
Didn't you cops want to do? They want to do the officer safety protocol, or they were feared for their life and safety. Or you got one cop that did it on, I forget, it was a couple months ago. He did I stand your ground kind of crap kind of thing. That's what cops do. I mean, don't find any excuse from qualified immunity, officer safety, that were feared like that to stand your ground. Don't make excuses, and then they'll blame the victim or say, well, this person made it hard for me, or they were being so difficult, I had no choice, yada yada yada.
Unit, which isn't really much of a punishment at all. So I mean,
they only gives a slap on the wrist, pay vacation,
like it's fine, whatever I do.
And that's the reason you enforce policies. That's the reason you enforce policies at a fast food restaurant to a law enforcement agency.
Yeah,
because if you enforce the policies, you have a better outcome, not only for staff, but also for the customer, for consumer.
Yeah, like most places have a policy against drugs. I know the job that I work, they don't allow it. Like, I mean, even though, yeah, it's legal to smoke marijuana, weed in Washington State, but our workplace, they piss test you to make sure you're not on THC or methamphetamine or anything like that. I had a buddy one time. He thought he can get with it. He smoked a little reefer, and he's like, I like smoking a lot of time to time. He fucking pissed positive. He got fired on the spot. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, I'm out here. My truck. Peace out.